So the rest of this unit is going to be about genetics. We're going to learn about the tools that scientists use to study genetics. We're going to look at some of the charts and all that they use to see what are the possibilities of you getting one gene from your mom and another gene from your dad, as far as, well, not genes, alleles, all right, and how these can come together to make you. We're going to look at how you can use different tools that scientists have created to see what you actually already have and how you might have gotten that from mom and dad or grandma or grandpa, all right, and trace our way back. And so that's what the rest of this unit is about. So we're going to start by talking about basics of genetics. Now, genetics is the study of heredity, which is the passing on of characteristics from parents to offspring. Your genes, all of your genes, every single one of them came from your parents. You literally got half of your gene from mom and half of your gene from dad. And those two come together to make you. Now, those characteristics that are inherited are called traits. Now, the first person to conduct important studies on heredity was Gregor Mendel. He used simple little pea plants. You know those little green peas that you probably like to throw at each other across the table? Well, those are the pea plants that Mendel was using, and he studied them because they were very simple, and they had a lot of different traits that came in only 2 varieties. Okay, so the pea plant is either tall or it's short. It's either green or it's yellow. The pea is either nice and round and smooth, or it's all wrinkled up, kind of like a raisin. And the fact that they had all these different traits that were easy to see and had only those 2 possibilities let him do these studies. We call Gregor Mendel the father of genetics because of this. All right? Now, just as a refresher on DNA, remember that DNA is the molecule that has the genetic information of an organism. Remember those nitrogen bases. That sequence tells us what we are. Okay, so there's that genetic information of an organism. And that DNA makes up the chromosomes that are in the nucleus. So we know what a nucleus is. We studied that in the last unit. Here are the chromosomes when they're all coiled up. Kind of look like X's. Now the chromosomes don't actually look like X's. This is when they're attached to their copies. That's when we can see them as X's. And when they actually coil up into an actual chromosome, okay, that's what they're going to look like because they've already made a copy of themselves. And we can see them attached to each other. All right. But on this are these long, thin strands, and they've wrapped all up into this nice, tight little bundle. And that long, thin strand is your DNA. You can see the double helix here. All right. And each section of that DNA, each little section of it as you go, is a gene. And so on this long strand of DNA, you have a gene that determines your hair color, and a gene that determines your eye color, and another gene that says whether or not you have hair on your knuckles, and another gene down here that says whether or not you have earlobes. So these little sections of DNA are your genes. So those small sections of DNA make up the genes, and the genes are the sections of DNA that control your traits.